We're very fortunate to be speaking to Geraldine Coughlan this afternoon in this wonderful open-air theatre. You'll see it in a moment, called the Royal Theatre here in Winton. Now, Geraldine, you've had a long and proud association with this place here, haven't you?
Yes, I have. We go back to the beginning of the Royal. My grandparents, Bill and Nell Evatt, actually built the existing theatre in 1938. They had prior to that an association with a theatre that was attached to the Royal Mail Hotel. So back in the day, the hotels would offer an added attraction, which in the Royal Mail Hotel, it was the theatre where they showed talkie movies. So my grandfather had bought the talkie movie side of the hotel, where he had that for 6 months before fire broke out and destroyed the theatre and the hotel as well.
Okay. Shortly
after, weeks after, my grandfather had decided that he was going to react to that by going down south, buying new equipment, the latest, greatest, bringing it back to Winton and potentially showing film within 6 weeks for the Christmas finale. He achieved that. He bought the freehold that the hotel stood with the vision of actually creating a larger theatre and then a multi-purposed front section of the theatre, which was shop frontages, which would help fund the complex. He promised he'd get the talkie movies up and going for the locals for Christmas, and he achieved that in a very makeshift sort of way. But subsequently, over the next couple of years, he was able to build ultimately what we have today. It's a theatre that sat 600 people.
Wow.
Had a roller skating rink at the front, which was a revenue stream again, where locals would Saturdays, Friday nights, early Friday afternoon would have their fancy dress costume competitions with roller skating as well as leisure, social. So the theatre is run continually through the Evatt family.
It's really been a hub of entertainment over the years for Winton and also, I suppose, travellers through Winton.
Yes. 1994, Dad recognised as another way of tapping into a revenue source using the theatre was to create nostalgia nights, which are a unique evening of back in time. Traditionally, how the movies would start would be the Portrait of the Queen, God Save the Queen, then advertising slides, newsreel, cartoon, feature film. So he owned a lot of film to be able to do this. So he created several models, and subsequently that's been running since 1994, and it has allowed the theatre to stay operating continuously. We run it seasonally from March through to October, with a core base of volunteers now.
Now, Geraldine, I'm interested in your own story. I know that you left here, married, had a family, 5 children.
Yes, yeah.
5 children, and toured a lot of places in Queensland with your husband's work. What's brought you back?
This has brought me back. The Royals brought me back, actually, from a feeling a part of belonging to this community. I grew up here, but left when I was 18. Met and married a very handsome New Zealander, and we were in the mining industry. We travelled a lot to different parts of Australia and the world with his profession. Raised a family. Sadly, my husband passed away 4 years ago, and so at this stage in our lives, our plans were very different. So I've just been inspired to participate and pitch in where I can with things that I know I connect with and that are important.
It must have been really sad when your husband passed away. It must have been.
Well, it was unexpected and very, very tragic, really. But we had had a very busy life. We had 5 children in 6 years, so we moved around a lot, and I was fortunate to be able to be at home with the children, helping sort of provide that stable environment while my husband did what he needed to do, which in many cases a lot of the work was remote or fly in, fly out, or just a lot of global travel for him. His last role was up at the Argyle Diamond Mine in the Kimberley country, working on the closure plans for the mine, and sadly we spent a lot of time apart because of the distance with that, but we were able to sort of make the most of it. We were looking forward to the next stage of our life. However, he was he'd had a health issue with his heart and had some surgery and was going very well, but sadly just unexpectedly fell asleep. So, but having said that, we were very grateful. He was we were very blessed to have him as long as we did, and that we had such a wonderful life together. So he was part of the relationship that he had up in the Kimberley with the traditional owners of the Argyle area. The Waterman community acknowledged John by having smoking ceremonies for him, which was a great honour because he was a New Zealander. The Rio Tinto organised for us, the family, my children, myself, to go up and be a part of what is a very important, privileged experience within their culture, within the Indigenous culture, but also, for us as a healing, and it was very extraordinary and a very powerful message of connection with country, and also with the relationship that the traditional owners had with that particular site. So we were very very graciously moved by how generous they were in doing that and insisting on it, which demonstrated the calibre in which they held my husband.
So I guess he must have been regarded by them as family, really, I suppose. And that's wonderful. It must be. So really sorry to hear about your husband, but it sounds as though you've got so much to be grateful for, and you're a positive person and can see.
Well, we can't be a victim. I promised myself and our children and their belief too, as we smile through our tears. We smile a lot.
Yeah. Now, what about your children? How do they feel about your mum being up here?
Oh, they're thrilled.
Yes.
They're thrilled. They're out of their hair. No, they're thrilled. They're very independent kids. They all went to boarding school. With the nature of our lifestyle, we had to travel a lot and move interstate. So this education system for stability and that those years of high schooling, friendship forming and what have you was really, boarding school was the best option for them, and subsequently it's been fantastic for them moving forward as young people with the tools that they've been given and they appreciate, and so they're all over Australia doing different things, and generally I live at the coast. I watched the whales migrate north the other day, and then I drove out here, and they're just happy that I'm comfortable and doing what I'm doing. I give them a report on how many tea towels I've sold, and how many have come to the movies.
I want to buy one too, by the way.
Yeah. So it's
That's
sort
fantastic.
of happy that I'm happy. They are very aware of my loss and their loss, but they know that they're very tentative, but they're also allowing me to do what I need to do, and they respect that, and they don't demand anything from me.
That's beautiful. Now, your enthusiasm, your vibrancy, your passion for this place. What are your dreams for this place?
We'd love it to be self-sustaining.
Okay.
That, you know, the theatre has the ability to generate enough income to be able to accommodate the maintenance and accommodate someone to be here, to keep the doors open, to be able to deliver experiences for people to share, which is primarily to show movies. And however, we also have a plan to work on making it a multifunctional sort of facility, so perhaps with a retractable stage so we can host music events or comedy, stand-up comedy, you know, or for functions. So there's avenues of daytime use as well as the evening for the movies.
Geraldine, it's been a real pleasure talking with you and meeting you. So thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it.
I'll waffle on a bit anyway.
I'm just wondering if you'd finish off by giving some words of wisdom, like how do you reckon, what's the best way to live your life, you reckon?
Each day. You never know what each day presents. Living it fully is just getting up and smiling and celebrating what presents to you.